experience with on-premise solutions. So moving to the next slide, I want to show you the calculations that we did in this ROI study. So we use a methodology called Total Economic Impact, or TEI. And this is a cost-benefit methodology with some enhancements. The TEI methodology is used to measure the effectiveness of really any kind of IT investment decision. And we've used this over and over again with our clients over the past decade for hundreds of software investment types of decisions. So while a simple ROI model would only include costs and benefits, the TEI model takes into account a couple of additional factors. Besides cost and benefits, we also consider risk and flexibility. So in this particular study, what we found is that the benefits that were quantified were related to the speed of deployment. As previously discussed, we found that the costs were really quite simple to model for the SaaS solution, but much more complex for the on-premise solution that the SaaS solution was replacing because of the various costs related to hardware, internal support staff, and so on. We did apply a risk factor in here. The risk factor tends to reduce the benefits to an extent because we model that certain outcomes may not be optimal in terms of running into some complexities in the architecture or software maturity and so on, which is typical of any kind of software project. We also put in a flexibility, a benefit factor for flexibility. So in looking at this model, what you'll see here is, just to boil all this down for you, we modeled an ROI on a CRM application, customer relationship management application, and what we found was a 20% ROI. We also did in this study a model of a human resources application and found actually a slightly better benefit of about 26%. And so this model is actually downloadable from our research site and has the detailed calculations. This particular model was based on a CRM installation of 1,200 users, which is a pretty large deployment. The scenario here is that it's replacing an existing on-premise application, and so this looks at the ROI of that replacement process. The benefits you can see on the top line here are roughly $1 million per year. And these are driven by the benefits I described related to quicker adoption of new users, improved utilization of the application, and also offsetting all the recurring costs related to the on-premise solution, such as maintenance fees and internal support staff. The costs in this model are based on the upfront and annual recurring cost of the SaaS implementation itself. So the bottom line here with this scenario is that we've got a 20% return on investment from replacing the on-premise solution with a SaaS application. And the payback happens in a 12 to 24-month time frame, which is really a very good turnaround time on a software investment project. So moving to the next slide, which is my last slide, I want to wrap up this portion of the agenda by discussing some of the trends that we're seeing in software as a service adoption. So I do a variety of market studies in areas like finance, HR, and ERP, and it's evident that the rate of software as a service is far outpacing on-premise systems at this point in time, roughly by a 3-to-1 margin. In fact, on-premise software vendors took big hits in 2009. If you look at their revenues, and in fact, some of the big vendors in the market have 20% to 30% declines in license revenues, whereas the SaaS vendors that we follow are actually showing significant growth despite the poor economy. The second point is that technology improvements are helping to improve the quality and value of SaaS solutions. And in terms of usability improvements, there's some significant new technology coming down called rich internet application technology, which is becoming a factor in some of the SaaS products. There are also some key technology improvements that are evident in the areas of process configuration, analytics, and SOA-based integration. As Forrester's been following this overall trend for the past couple of years, and we developed a model called Dynamic Business Applications, which really predicts how software applications are becoming easier to manage, easier to use, and this is manifesting itself in many of the SaaS solutions that we're seeing coming on the market. Finally, there's a natural convergence going on between SaaS and business process outsourcing service providers, and the BPO providers can offer a more differentiated solution by embedding SaaS application technology in their service offering. Corfino is clearly a proponent of this trend and is making this happen within the realm of finance. So this concludes my portion, and I'll now turn it back over to Judith to introduce our next speaker.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Paul. I think one of the most interesting parts of your discussion today is the concept of, A, how quickly you get the ROI, and secondly, the fact that it is a long-term ROI and that there's a lot of benefit with staying with a SaaS model over the long haul. Which brings us to our speaker, Dave Morrison, and welcome again, Dave. And I'm very excited to hear some of the results you've had personally from deploying this combined software as a service, business process outsourcing, and processing model. So take it away for us.
Okay, thanks, Judith. We have, in fact, seen some great results since becoming a customer of Corfino. Before I get into that, however, let me start off sharing a little bit of background information about Shop.com. We currently operate, our primary website is an innovative online shopping comparison site that's targeted at women aged 25 to 55 years old, as we call her, the CFO of the household. We have more than 2,000 brand name merchants or retailers on our site. We're currently privately held and have some pretty interesting investors over the years like Bill Gates and a few other notable names, which I'll omit at this point. But we're headquartered in Monterey, California, and our operations span both the U.S. and the United Kingdom. And although our employee count currently is just under 100 people, we have annual revenues of about $35 million. The next slide gets into a few other points I'd like to make. Shop.com, the key of understanding Shop.com and what we do is understanding that we really cater to both sides of the shopping equation. We meet the needs of both the ultimate or end shopper and our partnered merchants. We have patented technology, which we call our One Cart, that allows shoppers to select any number of products from a very large selection of retail merchants in the Shop.com marketplace. They then can place those products in our cart and purchase them with a single checkout. On the merchant or retailer side, we offer three primary services, and therefore we as a company enjoy three primary revenue streams or revenue models, if you will. The first one is the One Cart cost per order commission-based service, where we get paid a commission based on the products actually sold. We also have the partner store cost per click service, which is really a referral or advertising per click model. And then a display advertising revenue stream, the cost per thousand or CPM is the third. In addition, we offer the retailers in our marketplace multiple ways to merchandise their products through our editorial activities, buying guides, shopping articles, our blogs, and even our online shopping game called Cart Me Away. Next slide, please. Our technology is pretty cutting edge, and we're a natural fit as a result of that with Corfino. For instance, we both share a revolutionary view or attitude about performing routine, recurring activities, whether those be accounting or shopping. We decided to exchange our in-house personnel and software licenses for the completely outsourced Corfino model, and as a result, we've realized greatly reduced costs and improved service levels. But before making the decision to outsource to Corfino, we had a set of very specific requirements that had to be met. First, we needed a very fast implementation. In fact, we had to be up and running within a month's time